Hello and welcome to the Basement Games Power Scale Rankings. I'm your host, ViversX.
And I'm Grampy Jojo, and today we're going to be counting down the top 15 most powerful beings in BGDH.
I hope you enjoy. Right here at number 15, we have Casual Jill. Now, I feel like Casual Jill is a very good baseline for this Power Scale Rankings. Wouldn't you agree, Josiah?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Very casual, not super threatening when you look at Casual Jill, but has a lot up her sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, she really does have a lot of amazing abilities and feats, but also a lot of weaknesses. There's many different forms of Casual Jill. You have the Classic Jill, you have BSAA Jill, Army Jill, but I really do think the most powerful one of them all is Casual Jill.
And I really think that's because she seems so casual and non-threatening, and she isn't.
Honestly, she's anything but casual. She has a lot of weapons up her sleeve. She's got like rocket launchers, flamethrowers, shotguns, daggers, pistols. But I think one of the coolest abilities she has is that she's the master of unlocking. Did you know that, Joe?
I did not know that. I mean, seriously, just listing all those weapons, I mean, how do you beat that? But then that on top of it, hard to beat that.
Yeah, she has a lot up her sleeve. But she does have some weaknesses, and I feel like one of her main weaknesses is that she was not able to save Barry at the end of the original Resident Evil. He died, there was nothing she could do. It's pretty challenging, and it's sad that he wasn't able to make it.
Right, I didn't even think about that, but when you take that into account, I mean, when it mattered most, she did fall short.
Yeah, sadly.
At number 14, we have Colin's laptop. Now, this is something you really wouldn't expect to be in your top 15, but it's a pretty crazy trap because it was able to take down Taekwondo Joshua.
And it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was. It was hilarious. And because of that, Taekwondo Josh barely didn't make the cut, right?
Yeah, honestly, I think Taekwondo Josh, he didn't even make the cut at all. I mean, if we were to place him somewhere, I think he'd probably be like maybe rank 16. I think Casual Jill, she's got enough weapons up her sleeve to take care of Taekwondo Josh.
I would agree. You're talking about someone with weapons versus without, and someone who's been taken out by a laptop. I mean, what else do you have to say?
I mean, yeah, it's a laptop.
Right.
Right. And, you know, it is a trap, and I think one of the reasons why it's actually is better than Casual Jill is because Jill has actually fallen for many traps in all of Resident Evil.
Let's talk about the trap planter for a second. I mean, Colin is very mysterious and quiet about how he plants these traps.
He works in mysterious ways.
Right, and when Josh questioned him about it, he said, just don't worry about it. He said, don't worry about it.
At the end of the day, don't ask questions. Just try and avoid it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do for this.
But at the end of the day as well, it is just a laptop.
Still took out Josh, though.
It did.
Okay. Next
Taekwondo
after that,
Josh.
It did take out Taekwondo Josh. After that, we have number 13, the Band of the Pirates.
Oh
yeah.
That's
right.
I just got it in my head.
That's fair. So this is the legendary track of the Pirates of the Caribbean. This is a track that plays in Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's hidden everywhere. It could be behind a wall. It could be behind a boulder. It could literally be anywhere, and you'll be in danger when you hear it. It has the ability to summon as many enemies as it wants, like at any time. And as you know from playing through that stage, it shows up a lot.
I mean, that track to me, it's pretty intense when you just listen to it, but then the fact that it's able to literally summon enemies whenever it wants, at whatever amount it wants to, that's just it's really hard to beat that. It really is.
Honestly. And I think because of that, it can defeat any type of trap. It can send as many enemies as it wants to kind of get rid of traps. And, you know, Jill, she's fought plenty of zombies in the past. I don't know if she can fight these Kingdom Hearts 2 creatures, honestly.
I don't think so. And, I mean, the fact is, Colin's laptop is a trap, but not nearly as deadly as this trap.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much beats any trap because it is a trap. And because of
Right.
that, it is placed at number 13. After that, we have a classic. Number 12, Jail Cell Josiah. Jail Cell Josiah was somehow imprisoned by Taekwondo Josh. Like, I don't even know how Taekwondo Josh was able to put Jail Cell Josiah in that cell. But we know it happened, and it definitely did kind of lower his stats a little bit. But I think there's a lot more to the story. Joe, can you tell us more about it?
I can, and I will actually tell you, didn't Jail Cell Josiah put himself behind those bars?
I believe so. He gladly imprisoned himself, actually.
He did, you know. And one thing about Jail Cell Josiah is that he has the power over music itself.
He is a musician, after all, right?
Yes, he is. And he's a pirate.
That is true. And if you really think about it, wouldn't that mean that Jail Cell Josiah has the power of the Band of the Pirates, potentially?
He does. Yeah,
know?
I would think so.
I mean, think so.
We're talking about a pirate who has power over music itself. I mean, that is more powerful than a musical trap. That's way more deadly, I think.
I mean, honestly, if Josiah was not in this jail cell, he would be a lot higher on this list. But because of that, and, you know, his stats have a massive debuff because of this jail cell, it kind of does have to be placed at number 12.
And at number 11, we have VHS.GIF Joshua. Now, this is a trumpet cryptid that some think it's real, some think it's fake. And, you know, the general consensus is it's a figment of our imagination.
You know, it's really debatable at the end of the day. You know, you have many type of cryptids. You have stuff like Bigfoot. You have Mothman. Some people they have a lot of evidence that it is known that it exists. I think a pretty good amount of people think that VHS.GIF Joshua does exist. I mean, we have video evidence.
Yeah, I mean, what this thing does, this GIF does, is it basically is able to insert itself into any VHS tape. And so it really creates some pretty funny, unique things in there. And so it's any tape it wants, it can insert itself. And so that's pretty powerful when you think about it. And the mystery behind the real versus fake debate enough, I think that it enjoys living in that mystery. I personally am a believer. I think it's real.
Yeah.
You know, I think that that mystery creates a lot of power and tension.
Yeah, I think like it derives its power from faith itself. If you believe it exists, it becomes more powerful. So potentially it could even be higher on this list, but there are a few people that don't believe in him. They're kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why it places this high is because it faked evidence used to imprison Jail Cell Josiah itself. And I feel like that's a huge crime. That was a lot of damage to our last ranking, and that's kind of one of the reasons why Jail Cell Josiah is so weak at this time.
That's why it got bopped by VHS GIF of Joshua.
And after that, we have number 10, Catapult Squidlet. This is a very powerful being. With its trusty catapult, it can launch itself at very high velocity, traveling thousands and thousands upon miles, as you've seen in the credits of the Squidlet video game. Like one launch, it just travels almost across the planet itself.
Yeah.
I feel like if you got hit by something like this, it would just be absolutely devastating.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, we actually get to see the impact of its fall, and it creates a crater in the ground. I mean, very powerful.
From readings, I would say it falls under Supersonic Plus level. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why it kind of has like a one-up against our last ranking, VHS.GIF Joshua, is because it has no electronics in its mechanism. Yeah, exactly. So there's really nothing it can do to this catapult. And also, from what I know about Catapult Squidlet, it does have strong evidence about not being a trumpet player. I mean, yeah, exactly. If there was a belief that this Squidlet was a trumpet player, it could have been in jail too. It could have been put in jail. I don't know. There's a lot. So I think that's why it's definitely places at this ranking.
And at number 9, we have Wolf-Link Moonjump. Now, I have a question for you.
What's that?
Do you believe in the moon landing?
Well, I mean, kind of like the VHS.GIF, Joshua, it's kind of up to interpretation. But in my opinion, it did exist.
Yeah. So whether you believe in it or not, Wolf-Link Moonjump has been there. He's been to the moon. I mean, it's called Moonjump for a reason.
That is true.
An insanely powerful ability, being able to infinitely jump anytime, anywhere, forever, and never gets tired, just can keep going on and on. It's crazy.
That's a pretty powerful ability, just being able to go almost anywhere you want. I assume you can just avoid any attack that, tries to launch at it.
Right. Yeah, obviously, Wolf-Link on his own, pretty powerful. Has a lot of good abilities.
Decently powerful.
Yeah. But when you add in this Moonjump ability, all of a sudden, I mean, he's able to avoid everything. Now, the one thing, though he's a very hard target to hit, he's very vulnerable at the same time. So,
yeah.
If you do hit him, he's down for the count.
Yeah, I mean, I assume flying characters, that could be a weakness, or projectiles. But, at the end of the day, Wolf-Link, in order to attack his opponent, he really does have to get in there. So that does kind of open him up to, getting hits. And that's why it's a pretty broken ability, just being able to moon jump. But that's probably why he really does place at number 9.
To be aggressive and attack, he's got to be close, and his defense is running away, essentially, when he's moon jumping, right?
That's true. You got to give the dog some respect.
Yep, you do.
Next up on the list, number 8, we have the 48 frames of collision. Now, this is more of a concept than an actual character, but it's still very powerful. It's still a pretty big nuisance at the end of the day. From what I've heard, the 48 frames of collision was developed in an underground lab for the sole purpose of being a funny factoid that you can tell your friends in casual discussion. Have you ever had your friend talk to you about this before?
I have, and I did not realize that was the intent behind it.
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty cool factoid.
Yeah, when I think about the 48 frames of collision, I'm way more scared of the 12 other frames out of the 60.
Yeah.
Because that's where everything can go wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, though, as far as a weakness for the 48 frames of collision is those 12 frames where there's no collision, very dangerous, but some people are able to take advantage of them for their benefit.
That is true. It can be predictable in certain cases.
Right.
There is definitely some ways around the 48 frames of collision that can be advantageous.
Right. Very dangerous, but if you know what you're doing, you can take advantage of them. At number 7, we have Smash Bros. Final Boss Ryan. I mean, there's Ganon, there's Bowser, and then you got your Smash Bros. Final Boss Ryan, a triple champion in the BGDH Annual Smash Bros. Tournament. He's beaten his teacher in the finals, I think, almost every year. Maybe every year.
Honestly, from my perspective, as a Roy player, I would honestly say that he's a big challenge for me. There's a lot of times where it could go back and forth. You never know who's going to win.
It usually comes down to the wire, but whenever I'm just saying, whenever he sits down and he selects Captain Falcon or Ganon or whoever he's playing, it's getting real. Hey, do you like juggling?
Yeah. I mean, I like to juggle myself, but I don't like to be juggled. I think we can all agree with that.
No one combos quite like this guy. Once he starts, it's hard to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, no one combos like this guy. He's got a lot up his sleeve. You got the Falcon Punch, you got the knee to the face, you've got, all these dash. He's very fast, honestly.
Yep. And if he starts taunting you with show your moves, you may as well just spike your controller. You may as well spike your controller at that point. I think that's what Josh said one time. Because you're done. If he starts taunting you, he knows he's got it in the bag. It's over because he's very confident at that point. He's not a cocky final boss. He's very calm, cool, and collective, but dangerous. But he's not invincible.
That being said, we have number 6, Roy himself, but specifically on Rainbow Cruise. So Roy by himself in his base form, very powerful. He's got some range, he's very fast, able to take care of a lot of, Smash Bros. Final Boss Ryan's abilities. But there are many times when we're on levels like Final Destination where Roy's just not quite able to make the cut sometimes. But then you have stages like Rainbow Cruise. It has a lot of obstacles, it's kind of has some weird collision. This is where Roy really takes advantage of all of Smash Bros. Final Boss's Ryan's weaknesses.
Yeah, when you start adding in obstacles and platforming, that's where it really starts to become tough, especially for Smash Bros. Final Boss Ryan.
And one of the most broken abilities that Roy Rainbow Cruise has is the ability to choose Rainbow Cruise even when you choose a random stage.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. When he needs it the most, doesn't even matter if it's random. It'll be chosen. And
Yep.
when it's chosen, Ryan better watch himself, honestly.
So far, he hasn't been on the successful side when it comes to Roy and Rainbow Cruise. He's Captain Falcon, but he ain't the captain of that ship, I can tell you that.
I agree. Honestly, thinking about it now, there are a lot of pirates on this rankings, but Captain Falcon, I don't even know what captain he's part of if you can't even beat someone on Rainbow Cruise.
Right.
You might want to say it's easy to blame it on the stage, but I think Roy's our boy. He's able to back it up. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would say he definitely stays on that ship more often. And then we have number 5, Dodgeball Rover. I bet some of you don't remember who this guy is, and I think that's kind of sad. He is a very powerful being, and he deserves to be in the top 5 of this rankings.
Can you imagine playing Red Rover with this guy?
I can't.
No, you would be out for the count real quick.
Dodgeball Rover is a very powerful being. He has the power of Dodgeball. This ball does a lot of damage to Link. It's able to kill Link, it's able to throw it, but there are some weaknesses and advantages to having this Dodgeball. But before I go into that, one thing has to be clear. Dodgeball Rover is an immortal being. Absolutely nothing can damage Dodgeball Rover in battle. It doesn't matter if it's Link's swords, his arrows, bombs. He is invincible. And not a lot of characters on this list can say that about themselves.
With the exception, of course, of his own Dodgeball. That's his kryptonite.
Yes, that is true. Dodgeball Rover kind of is the Superman of this rankings. He has the dodgeball, but it's the only thing that can damage him. And so if, he misses his shot and Link gets that ball, it could be potentially over for him.
I mean, I would not enjoy playing dodgeball with this guy.
No, definitely
but
not.
I will say, if you're able to get your hands on that dodgeball, you have a pretty good shot because he's a big target.
Yeah.
And it's a big ball.
And, let's just say theoretically, what if he just hid that dodgeball somewhere? You wouldn't even be able to damage him. He wouldn't even...
What would that... Yeah.
It'd be impossible. And I think for that reason, he's very high up. Definitely rank 5 is a pretty generous rank for him.
Yeah, I would agree. I think even without the dodgeball, I mean, he's not a small fella. He could squash people, I think, if he just...
Honestly.
Jumps over. I mean, if he hops around, I mean, he could just hop right on Link.
And because of all of those reasons... he is number 5 on this rankings.
And at number 4, we have Rainbow Sands Undertale.
Ooh, boy.
We all know Sands from Undertale, right? One of the final bosses of a genocide playthrough. But one thing that Undertale has, and Sands has even more than any other boss, is being able to change the color of his opponent from red to blue to all these other things. And all these colors limit you in some sort of way. And this version of Sands, Rainbow Sands, has all those colors at the same time. So all of a sudden, I mean, you have full control of your opponent at that point.
Yeah, honestly, Rainbow Sands has basically power over color itself at that point.
Yep.
Rainbow Sands Undertale is still, at the end of the day, still kind of has the same weaknesses as normal Sands Undertale. If you can hit him, he's dead. One hit. But
Yeah.
because of this Rainbow Sans Undertale ability, he's really able to not be hit even more than usual.
Yeah, I don't even think you could attempt to hit him. I mean, at least in the regular Sans Undertale, you can attempt to hit him, and eventually, of course, you wear him out. But this time, you're not even able to wear him out because he just has complete control over you with all colors at the same time.
And, I mean, let's just say that you even got somewhat close to attacking him. He still has the powers of normal Sans Undertale. He is able to stop the fight and not continue his turn. And if he never continues his turn, it's over. Like, it cannot continue, but it can never stop at the same time.
And you're not going to be able to move that box to hit him. I mean, if he falls asleep, because you're all the colors. I mean, you're not going to be able to move yourself around. One thing, though, with Rainbow Sans is he does rely on having color available to him. And so without color, he's not nearly this powerful. And so that's why he did not quite get into the top 3. And at number 3, we have Darkness with Pajama Sam's Flashlight. Now, this is not something that you would expect to have in the top 3. This would not, I think, be people's expectation.
Yeah, honestly, going into this, I didn't even have Darkness with Pajama Sam's Flashlight in my mind.
No, who would, right? He doesn't seem very threatening, but when you think about the big picture here, you have darkness itself. Light is needed to create color, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have darkness with Pajama Sam's Flashlight, all of a sudden darkness is controlling the light.
He really does have the power of darkness and light at the same time. That's a pretty impressive combo.
Yeah, when you think about it, like, we're kind of used to having the sun dictate the light of the world, right? Darkness is not controlling it, the sun is. Now all of a sudden, darkness itself is controlling the light. And so when you think in Sans Undertale wouldn't stand a chance against darkness with Pajama Sam's Flashlight.
Because there is no color. No light, no
right.
color.
Right.
This is where it gets incredibly overpowered. At number 2, we have the King of Red Lions with the Triforce itself. As we all know, the Triforce is a very powerful object. In the lore of Zelda, it has many different abilities. It has the power of, power itself. It has wisdom and courage. And when it's combined together, it can grant any wish the user wants. And so when the King of Red Lions gets the Triforce, he's able to make that wish at the end of the Wind Waker and was able to do a lot. Can you tell us about that, Joe?
Yeah, he wipes out all of Hyrule. I mean, he really does. And it basically causes it to flood. Ganon's kind of trying to save it, and King of Red Lions wants to flush it away and move on and move to something new. And the thing about it is the King of Red Lions himself is able to turn from a boat to a human whenever he wants.
Yeah.
As a boat, he has a cannon. He can shoot bombs out.
And a crane.
And a crane. He can dig for treasures. And we also see him warp from place to place throughout the game as well. And so he's got a lot of powerful abilities already, no Triforce in hand. I mean, yeah, the King of Red Lions is a boat, but I bet if he had the Triforce, he could probably turn himself into a plane. Who knows?
True.
He can do whatever he wants. And he basically chose to wipe out an entire mass of land. I mean, that is very, very powerful. And so when you combine those two things, really, that's hard to beat.
And with that being said, before we go into our final rankings, we have the honorable mentions. Now, as we were talking about earlier, this is a top 15. Because of that, there are going to be some characters that slip through the cracks a little bit. As we said before, Taekwondo Josh could possibly be rank 16, so he couldn't make the cut. But there are many others.
Such as We Shop Automaton,
Josiah's Tacos,
The Chandelier from Hitman 2,
the Monster Hunter original character,
Joshua Mecha Brutal Transformation,
Hit, The Box,
Skellyman McMahon,
Sephiroth DDD,
and lastly for honorable mentions, we have Ryan Fit Adventure.
Sadly, they could not make it in the top 15, but they are pretty honorable in and of themselves.
Agreed. But our final number 1 spot has to go to BGDH Haruhi. And there's really nothing that can bop this at all. You're talking about a very stern, direct being that is essentially, when you dig into the lore, the god of BGDH. And if you dig into the lore, it's the creator of BGDH itself, an all-powerful being, and has been shown to be able to grant wishes whenever it wants. It doesn't need a Triforce or anything else. It just can grant wishes whenever it wants. And you're talking about an all-powerful being. And beyond having just all this power, also has the ability to travel through time and create time loops.
That's true. And with that time loops, BGDH Haruhi can actually put people in those time loops, making it pretty much impossible to get out of. We're really dealing with a fourth dimensional being here. I don't think there's any being that could beat this.
You can't beat that at all. And that is why it makes our top spot in our power scale rankings for BGDH.
I want to thank you all for watching.
Let us know if you agree. Do you think we should have swapped any of these around? Do you think there's other things we're forgetting?
Do you think Taekwondo Josh should have been in the top 15? I don't think so.
It was a close call.
It was
a close call, but I don't think so. Don't think so.
Well, with that being said, I hope you have a good one.
Thank you, everybody.